Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I have a beautiful 1 month review of this gorgeous F50 leather remake. Here we go. All right, fam, here we go for the leather remake. This is the 1 month review. As you can see, I've absolutely beat them to shreds. They are, well, not to shreds. They're still perfectly functional and beautiful, but they are totally broken in, absolutely gorgeous and soft. These are a stunning pair of football boots with the leather forefoot, the Carbotex insert, and just an insane amount of performance and comfort all in one football boot. So what we're gonna do in this video is, as per the normal 1 month reviews, I've tried to get them a little bit all closer together to a formula so you guys kind of get a sense of what's coming in each of the 1 month reviews. I wanna go over all the tech specs, all the aspects of playing in them. Can I keep them clean, being all white, everything down to what the sole plate's like, how the leather stretches, all that stuff. So we'll get into everything, and you guys will see on the bottom here, there'll be like a timer, or I guess a little like chapters version. It'll continue to go throughout so you can pick which parts you want to watch. Obviously, I'd love if you watch through the entire video to see if these are the type of boots you want to wear, but of course, we'll hop just straight into it. So we are going to today start with the sole plate. So the sole plate is the speed frame from the Ghosted series. It also is the same sole plate that features on the Speed Flow series, and it's an absolutely amazing sole plate. You guys know I've raved about it since the Speed Portal, the Speed Portal, the Speed Flow, and the Ghosted came out. It is an awesome sole plate. It features this Carbotex insert in the forefoot area, plus a ton of different types of studs. You've got bladed in the back, bladed in the midfoot, and then a little bit of these half chevron studs here in the forefoot area that really create a very good amount of snapback. As you can see, tons of snapback there on that football boot. Really amazing, and they do such a good job of holding your foot in place while giving you a great amount of lockdown, both on natural and on artificial surfaces. Here at the facility, I often have the artificial surfaces, but on our game in Maryland, I was wearing these in the warm-up, and they just weren't as broken in. They were almost brand new at that point, so I didn't wear them for the game. But for warm-up, these on a good FG pitch, like a firm ground pitch in natural grass, absolutely fantastic for this sole plate. So it does an insane amount of job. You guys know I love this sole plate. It's such a good piece of equipment. It's subtle, it doesn't give you too much bite, but it also gives you just the amount that's correct for an AG or an FG pitch. So for me, this sole plate, especially in this gorgeous white metallic color, this sole plate definitely to me gets a 9 out of 10. It's one of the best sole plates on the market right now, and I think performance-wise, it is really difficult to beat this sole plate in the current market, and especially in the speed boot market. So as far as I'm concerned, it's the best sole plate on the market, for speed boots especially, and yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Very, starting off super strong. Now the colorway, let's go colorway next. This colorway is also really hard to beat. Also, these are a little bit dirty, so stay tuned. Hopefully they'll be clean in a little while. I'm gonna clean them off probably later today after my training session. But these are an all white boot with the silver accent. So you've got silver on the 3 stripes here on the lateral side and the medial side, and the Adidas logo there. And then on the bottom, it's a white sole plate with almost this chrome plating to it. So, which has since worn off definitely a little bit. You can see it's only in the grooves of this middle part, but this colorway is fantastic. If you're somebody who really likes white boots or lighter colored boots, these are super hard to beat. And when they're totally clean, when they're brand new, this is genuinely one of the best looking football boots I've ever seen because of the way the silo looks, and especially when it's on feet. A white pair of boots fits with any type of kit, right? No kit looks bad with white football boots, especially if you wear grip socks with the tube over. So regardless of what color you wear, these are gonna be absolutely amazing. You can still pick these up I've seen them on eBay, I've seen them on a couple different soccer websites, so just check the markets, see what you can find. Would definitely recommend buying a pair of these just for the colorway because they're that good. So colorway for me, also a 9 out of 10. Absolutely beautiful. So 9 out of 10. I am very hard on football boots. So to give a 10 out of 10, by the way, is almost impossible for me. that's why, so 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 are just exceptional. Like they're the best on the market at the current time, in my opinion, if that's the rating I give them. So 9 out of 10 for Colorway. Now let's talk about the heel lockdown. I know a lot of people were concerned about the slippage in the heel a little bit, but because of this suede liner here, it does give you a really nice lockdown in the heel. I would say these aren't as good. If you can see, they're a little bit floppy there. So they do start to soften up a little bit, which in my opinion does hinder them a little bit compared to the Battle Pack remakes that are basically the same boot, just the synthetic version, the hybrid touch version of this boot. And I would say those do a little bit of a better job, in fact, a lot of better job at locking your heel down. I don't experience a ton of slippage because I do wear grip socks. So if you are somebody who finds grip socks to be annoying or you don't like wearing them, I might recommend going for a different boot or trying grip socks with this pair of football boots, simply because it is a little, when it does break in, it does get a little bit soft. So I would say the lockdown for me is about a 7 out of 10. So the heel area is really comfortable. So that's the thing you have to understand though, is it does have an exceptional amount of comfort. It really does mold to the heel, but it doesn't have the same amount of lockdown that I would get from a Battle Pack or maybe a Vapor or something like that. So I would say a good 7 out of 10, which is still a good rating. Again, it's not bad, but it's not as good as some of the other remakes that I've seen, especially in wearing them in games and stuff. I found that there was a couple times where I had just a tiny bit of slippage, but it was more of a feeling of less lockdown, not a matter of like blister slippage, but more of a slipping in my heel up and down this way a little bit more than I would have liked to. So no issues there. It's still not going to hinder me from wearing this boot. Obviously a 7 out of 10 is still a great rating, still well above average, but that's just something that I think is on this boot is a little less than the Battle Pack remakes. Let's go with the upper now. Okay, so the upper is the forefoot from this little seam here all the way forward is totally leather. So in comparison to that Battle Pack remake, which is from back here forward, is that hybrid touch. You get the leather in the mostly in the forefoot, and then this really soft synthetic-y material here in from this area all the way back to the heel. So that's something to keep in mind. This isn't a full leather boot. It's definite, but it's definitely got that leather in the area where you probably are going to touch the ball the most, other than maybe trapping or passing a ball with this, which isn't going to matter that much unless you want a padded sensation. In that case, this isn't the boot for you. The leather on here, when I tell you it is quality and so outrageously soft, when it breaks in, it is just ridiculous. Like, I cannot express to you how soft this leather is. You guys will see on the closer up images and video, like slow-mo stuff of this boot, it is so soft. It is ridiculous. Like, this is probably one of the softest leather uppers. Like, this crushes Tiempo Legend 9 Elite. As far as like pliability, break-in, and softness, these are buttery soft. I would almost say this is the quality of a Mizuno made in Japan leather. I would say it's just a half a step down from, say, something like a Morelia Neo Beta 3, which also has the leather just in that forefoot area. It's a very similar construction to these, except the midfoot area is a lot softer and more pliable in this version, this boot, as opposed to the Morelia Neo 3 Betas. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have a thinner foot as well, Morelia Neo 3 Betas is probably the move for you. These definitely fit thinner feet, but they're more pliable, so they are gonna stretch a little bit more for the wide-footed players, and that's where I absolutely love these boots. That's why I think these boots are some of the top boots I've ever worn, in my opinion, because they're so pliable and so soft when you break them in a little bit. During that game in Maryland that I told you about, when I wore these on the grass pitch, their beautiful grass pitch there in Maryland, they were giving me a little bit of pain on the outside, but that is for every single boot. So if you are a wide-footed player, don't be afraid if you get a little bit of pinchiness on the outside. These boots will stretch. Unless you have an absolute crazy tank of a foot, which I kind of do, these definitely, I mean, you can see how wide they are, and you can see, here we go. So now you can see the spillover from the sole plate, which again, I don't care about, and it doesn't hinder the performance for me at all, but see the spillover from where I've broken the boot in and where I've stretched that leather. That's how wide it is. Really, really special as far as the upper goes. And it does, I think the texturing on this midfoot area does a fantastic job of holding your foot tight, giving you good lockdown, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that is something, this upper is sensational. For me, this is an 8.75 out of 10. So exceptional, not my favorite on the market, but so good. An 8.75, brilliant football boot. So that's my rating for the upper. I really truly think these are a special pair of football boots as far as the upper goes. And to be fair, that's the reason why most people buy them. If you've seen my review, my unboxing of these boots, when Michael and I were doing the unboxing together, that is one thing that he mentioned is, and he actually bought a second pair like I did, the reason you buy boots like this is because of how special and soft this leather upper is, and it's so comfortable out of the box. It just absolutely blows me away. So that's the upper. Related to the upper, let's talk about lockdown. Lockdown on this boot is not as good as the hybrid touch, and that's to be expected for a leather upper. When leather stretches, it doesn't have the same lock as the synthetic does. Something like a Speed Portal Plus or a Speed Portal 0.1, it's gonna stretch a little bit, or a Puma Ultra Ultimate. If you see my 1 month review, go check that one out. It is definitely something that I would recommend for people with middle average width feet to thinner feet, because it gives you the amount of stretch and then it stops. And if you have wider feet than that, you're like, okay, it's stretching, and then it doesn't stretch anymore, and you're like, well, dang, now what do I do? This is not that boot. This boot will stretch to your foot and then give you the lockdown with that laces that does a really fantastic job of holding your foot in place. For me, it's again not as good just because it is more pliable and leather compared to the hybrid touch version of this boot, but I would say it's a 7 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10 for lockdown, so good, definitely good with the heel, but again, the heel construction, as I told you about earlier, is just a little bit flimsy for me, and so it's not as locked down as possible, and then the leather obviously is not as structured as something like a hybrid touch or something with the Flyknit cable or Flywire cables from Nike or something like that, right? So that is something to think about if you are interested in something with a ton of lockdown. This is maybe not the boot for you, but it's still good. So if you're willing to compromise on the comfort, definitely that's why you buy this football boot. So 7 out of 10 for lockdown. Lacing system, right down the middle, nothing to write home about. Other tech specs, and let's talk about durability and a fit. So let's do durability first. So durability, as you can see, there really isn't any places on this boot. Yes, it's got a little discoloration here where I tend to kick the ball the most, but I would say for the most part, I've absolutely beaten the hell out of these on both artificial grass and regular grass, and they have held up really well. So I am super impressed. Obviously they're kind of dirty, so don't let that fool you. They have there's no separation of the sole plate, maybe that tiny, there you go, tiny bit right there, but that is super minuscule. I expect that with all of my boots, especially playing on AG. Fun fact for you guys, and a little bit of a hard truth, I need everybody to stop complaining about boots separating when you wear them on AG. AG beats the hell out of boots no matter what, and that's just a reality of playing on artificial grass. The trade-off is it's a lot harsher on your boots, so it's lucky if you get 2 to 3 months, 4 months in with zero separation on your boot. That's really lucky. When people say, oh, I've got turf in the front of my boots, sorry man, like that's kind of how it works when you play on AG. When it says FG, the whole reason behind FG is because that's what it's meant to be played on. But if you make the decision, like I do, to wear FG on AG pitches, like the one here in this facility, you have to understand that it's most likely gonna rip your boots faster than if you wore them on natural grass, okay? So that's just a disclaimer. Durability though has been excellent on these. For the leather hasn't split. There's been no issues with the upper and stuff. So I would give these an 8.5 out of 10 as far as, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for durability, just because they get dirty really often. So I guess that's not a durability issue, but because of the colorway, you do have to clean them a lot, and it does mean you're fixing them up quite a bit. So 8 out of 10 for durability goes. Good leather, good synthetic on that midfoot and heel area, and of course the leather on this. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, that's durability. Let's talk about the fit. The fit is perfect. Out of the box, it might feel a little squishy, squeezy, I guess. Squeezy, squishy, pick yours. Just because it is a bit It is leather, so they're gonna make it feel a little bit more snug so that it stretches to your foot and is a little more reasonable when you get broken in. So I would say the fit is a 9 out of 10 for me. It's absolutely brilliant. They're so comfortable out of the box, and it's definitely something you should try on if you have the chance to. So that kind of covers everything as far as this boot goes. These are a beautiful pair of football boots. I absolutely love them. I have a second pair of these that are brand new that I haven't worn yet that are in my house that I will definitely be wearing for the next couple seasons, and hopefully these last me that long as well. I think these are stunning. They're such an exceptional pair of football boots, and I recommend buying them. These are definitely on my list to buy if you are on the market for something that's fun, it's flashy, it's unique. Not very many people have them, and they are just a great pair of leather, comfortable football boots that are super lightweight and really, really great right out of the box. If you enjoyed that video, if you like these 1 month reviews, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave down below in the comment section what questions you have. Are there any topics that I didn't get to on these that I should have? Leave them down below. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.